So away we go in the European Cup final. West Germany in the shape of Bayern Munich, attacking the goal to our right, and straightway the man who makes so much of their play from the midfield, Breitner, to the number 6, Kraus, a real terrier of a little midfield player. But here come Aston Villa. That's a good break deep out of a long way back from Gordon Cowans, finding Peter With, but Algan Tyler's there, finding the number 10, Matty. Youngster, only 20, only had a handful of games, and suddenly finding himself pitched into a European Cup final. Here's Morley, who's been saying today that he's got the feeling he might just score another of his spectacular goals. He seems to reserve them for the big occasions, and they don't come bigger than this. Gary Williams, the young fullback, forcing the throw out of Hans Weiner. So a throw to Aston Villa. Big Alan Evans coming up from the back, number 4, to take it. Aiming towards the head of Peter With, and it'll come back again for Alan Evans, and gone deep, and that didn't clear that crossbar by much. Manfred Müller in the Bayern Munich goal was watching it all the way, and Evans getting quickly into the action there, but a goal kick to Bayern Munich, who are the odds-on favourite, or something 5-4 on, based no doubt on their greater experience in playing in European football than Aston Villa. But Aston Villa are learning all the time, and they've done well in this European Cup campaign this season to beat teams of the calibre of Dynamo Berlin, Dynamo Kiev, and the Belgian champions Anderlecht. Here's Gordon Cowans again, a little touch there towards Peter With, but I don't think it'll quite reach Des Bremner, not sufficiently for him to be able to control it. And here's the first touch from Rummenigge. Now Hoeneß played for Dernberger. There's a little experienced midfield man as well, Dernberger. Number 10 is Matty. Now Horseman, giant defender. Matty again, With coming back to hustle him a little bit, and I think Aston Villa were aware that they dare not let Bayern Munich get into their stride, and will do their utmost to hustle them out of it. A good jump by Ken McNaught. Here's Rummenigge again, though. Prolific goal scorer, and well wide on that occasion. Goal kick. Twice the European Footballer of the Year, Rummenigge. And Rimmer throws it out to Gary Williams. Again towards Peter With, but on that occasion Kraus got his header in for Bayern Munich. Williams again. Shaw. The challenge was pretty fierce from Matty. Here's Breitner. Played back again for the number 4, Weiner. And Kraus. Horseman on the far side. Weiner had 2 excellent games against Liverpool in the semi-finals last year, did Weiner. An occasion when Mr. Breitner, after Bayern had got a goalless draw up at Anfield, called British footballers naive, something he had rammed down his throat in the second leg in the Munich Olympic Stadium by a goal from Ray Kennedy that put Liverpool into the final last year instead of Bayern. Shaw trying to play the ball back again, but I'm not quite sure what he was trying to do with it. And a chance now for Dremler to bring it to find Kraus. Inside from Matty. Breitner up ahead of him, so is Hoeneß. And Horseman, the big number 3. Breitner's made a run trying to get in behind Des Bremner, but Bremner spotted that well for Aston Villa. Good, comfortable opening few minutes for Aston Villa, playing in their first European Cup final. Gary Shaw, the linesman flagging on the far side, giving a free kick. I can only think for handball against the young Aston Villa number 10, or rather number 8. Horseman. Do you get an early impression about Aston Villa, Brian?
Well, they're playing with a lot of enthusiasm, which can be expected, but the Germans are having a feel of the ball and a feel of the game, actually. They're not putting themselves about too much at the moment. And it's not too bad a thing early on in the cup final. It's a hell of a long way, to go before the end of the match.
On a very, very warm evening as well. Carnes, Morley, Augenthaler, the sweeper, getting it back to Muller. They've had a few problems with their goalkeeper. Muller contesting a place with young hands. They decided this fellow's a little more reliable. Hoeneß, big awkward centre forward. And that's a good ball there by Rummenigge for Matti. Hoeneß wanting it towards the near post. The ball is played instead to Breitner. Gone past the challenge of Carnes. Turning it back again, and maybe a little too far back, and Bremner can get it and poke it out now. And a 2 against 2. If Villa can bring it away quickly. Support from Bremner, who stopped it in the first place, got up quickly, got himself fouled by Dernberger, and provide Aston Villa with a free kick. A really excellent piece of play by Bremner, because he stopped the attack at one end and was galloping forward to link up well as Shaw was making a run forward. Well, it's a free kick to Aston Villa. The last 4 European Cup finals decided all by a score of 1-0. But these two sides really will enjoy going at each other. Carnes there towards Peter With. Significant there, Brian, how Peter With got above them all.
I think he's a little bit annoyed with himself. He didn't do a bit better, because he went, as you say, above everybody, and I thought momentarily that it was on target. And if it had been on target, the goalkeeper was standing on his line. There was no way he could have saved it.
And there's no doubt, since Bayern Munich saw Peter With in action last Friday against Swansea, they've had, I'm told, Dieter Hoeneß, their big number 9, playing the Peter With role against Augenthaler, the sweeper, ever since in training. This is Dernberger to Horstmann. Augenthaler to the number 2, Dremler. Well, he's gone past Morley. Big, rangy man who plays in midfield, Dremler. Stopped there, though, by Dennis Mortimer. Kenny Swain. Gary Williams to Tony Morley. Very deep. And a long ball trying to release Shaw. But Weiner's gone with him. And this will be for Kraus. Not what Shaw intended at all. Paul Breitner. Swift challenge there on Rummenigge by Evans. And the whistle had gone. The referee not happy that Evans then kicked the ball away. About 8 minutes of the first half gone. Still Aston Villa 0, Bayern Munich 0. Karl-Heinz Rummenigge. Paul Breitner. And Udo Horstmann. Very casual pace still, as Brian Clough was pointing out a moment ago, by Bayern Munich. And then the long ball by Augenthaler, which was a similar ball to one that produced a goal in the semi-final against CFKA Sofia, but he hit Rummenigge with that one superbly. Not on that occasion there. Well, it looks as though there's trouble for Aston Villa. Jimmy Rimmer, who I gather injured the shoulder in training yesterday. Well, this is desperate news for Aston Villa. Shakes his head in grave disappointment, and with 9 minutes of the game gone. Well, apparently that was an injury that they kept a pretty good secret, and Nigel Spink, a 6'1.5" goalkeeper with only one previous first team game, and that was on Boxing Day 1979. A lad from Chelmsford City comes on for what is a supreme test of his nerve and his ability, and there he gets an early touch, supported by the Villa fans.
That was worth a tenner to him, Brian, what the left-back did of the Germans, giving him a touch, early doors.
With to Shaw. And now Bremner. And it was Matty who got that away. And the ball out of play for a throw to Bayern Munich. Just had it confirmed that in fact it was a hard training session on Monday where Jimmy Rimmer upset a neck muscle, an injury that they shielded very well, but clearly once Jimmy got into the action today, he's an experienced enough pro to know that you can't carry an injury like that in a game as vital as this. So what an amazing chance for young Nigel Spink. Well, here's Mortimer. And now Swain. Swain getting in there again. Breitner. Here's Swain once more. Played back to him from Peter With. And the ball played by Williams for Morley. Will he take him on? That's a good cross he's whipped in there, and the keeper nearly made a fist of that one. Muller was in two minds for a moment whether to gather it or whether to push it away, and Morley showing the danger that he can present to the Bayern Munich defence.
He ran about 15 yards when he stopped it for the second time as well, goalkeeper. Never touched the floor.
Right now. Harris. Morley. Outside him goes Gary Williams. He's played this high ball again towards Peter With, but Augenthaler was there, and here's Horseman, who's not lacking inches either. Long galloping stride, and With is after him. And in the end, brings him down for a free kick to Bayern. Dremler. According to the referee, unfairly so. Wolfgang Dremler gets a free kick to Bayern. Dieter Hoeneß on the far side, poised if it should reach him, which this one won't, but it might get as far as Horseman. Dernberger in there, but beaten in the air by Swain. Again, it's Bayern's throw. Dernberger, the header only falling for Alan Evans. And his long ball picking out Peter With. Now, very short. Onto the left foot. Morley away on the left and a lot of space for him. And here's Tony Morley. And he's given a corner.
The Germans are frightening Villa at the moment, Brian, if we can just cash in on it.
Let's hope this will frighten them as well. No, it won't. Kahns gets it in. Breitner gets it away. Here's Dennis Mortimer. His captain's armband. Morley. Mortimer. Played for Shaw. They were all trying to get in there, including Ken McNaught. Morley driving one, deflected, and no trouble in the end to Muller. Now the breakout by Bayern. And a good stop by Joyce Bremner against Paul Breitner. No foul, and Breitner is down, and a bit of pain to his back. He's only just come back from injury. It was a thigh injury that he had before, but it looks as though his back's troubling him a bit. So he's up and about. Gordon Cowans played again towards Gary Shaw, but Bremner didn't let him settle on that. Dieter Hoeneß very deep, and now Mate. Got Rummenigge away on his left, Brighton away on his right, who's back miraculously back. A free kick to Bayern Munich in what could be a dangerous area. Rummenigge will probably take this one. He's got a habit of getting some powerful swerving shots. Jimmy Rimmel was telling me about this last week, and I'm sure he must have passed that on to Nigel Spink, who's in goal now. So it's Rummenigge with the free kick, just two men in the Aston Villa wall. Ernest poised on the far side, curled in towards him, knocked off his head though, and Dernberger with a shot charged down by Bremner. Out again as far as Dremler. And Cowans was almost physically pulled back there. The referee spotted it, allowed the free kick to be taken quickly. Well done, referee. And now Morley with back heeling it there, but not quite into the path of Mortimer. Cowans tossed him once more towards Peter Withe there, trying to hit him with so much stuff in the air. Rummenigge being watched by Evans. Flick of the neck muscles, and the header goes to Gordon Cowans. Evans again, played nicely and accurately, the simple pass, but it was effective as it found Withe, and now it's with Mortimer, with Bremner outside him, and Swain marauding away on that right. Long cross again in towards Peter Withe, and Gary Williams hoping to turn it back from the byline, which he does. Gary Shaw's in there as well, but he's being held away by Weiner, and the goal kick given.
Germans are living dangerously. Are they living dangerously? If we can just get in now and make the breakthrough while we're completely on top. Rummenigge has not had a kick yet.
Well, let's hope Kenny Swain and company keep it that way, although Rummenigge is operating very much in the central areas at the moment and coming up against Alan Evans, which is not all that profitable for him at the moment. This is Kraus, the number 6. And that gave Horseman only half a chance, but he just managed to get it, but that's cut out by Mortimer. Swain with the little touch, which is not really effective. Matty. Now Rummenigge. Being watched by Williams, who did his job well. And a goal kick given. Rummenigge thought it was a corner. The linesman and referee between them came to the conclusion that it's a goal kick for Nigel Spink. 14 goals this season, Rummenigge, and scored in 3 of the 4 rounds in the European Cup this season for Bayern. Well, Nigel Spink, grateful no doubt for another touch. With chesting it down well there for Shaw. Haven't quite got their act together yet. Swain, Mortimer, now Cowans, with Morley outside him again. Played in again towards Peter Withe. Morley picking it up though, and the whistle had gone for the free kick. Morley looking quite aggressive and dangerous, Brian.
Yes, he is. I'm more interested in Peter Withe and young Shaw, because the Germans are giving them more room than I've seen some strikers have for a long, long time. He did tighten up there, the defender, actually, but 15, 20 yards outside the box, Peter Withe is finding acres of ground. Well, if we can just get some support to him when he makes his space, then I think we can go through the middle of their defence.
The Germans, in fact, do let a few goals in. They are finishing 3rd in the national championship, but they've conceded some 53 goals in their 33 games. Mind you, they've scored 76, so they get a lot, but they do concede a few, and you must always feel you've got a chance against them. Cowans now, in for Withe. Now Peter Withe onto the right foot. In the end, he tried to curl one, and the range was all over the place, but he turned his man well and suddenly found himself with a very useful yard of space. So Manfred Müller, their 35-year-old goalkeeper, It's Kraus. This is Matti. Speeding it up a little as he finds Rummenigge. Little flick through there by Horstmann to Hoeneß. Rummenigge. Dremler. Got a few forward now, the Germans. Rummenigge. Better have got 9 back, mind you. Rummenigge looks as though he might take a bit of stopping, though. But Alan Evans was equal to it, but the throw goes to Bayern Munich. 20 minutes gone, and still no score in this European Cup final between Bayern Munich and Aston Villa. Throw by Rummenigge. Hoeneß. Oh, I thought for a terrible moment he was going to get it through to Breitner. Dernberger. That's a good ball there for Horstmann from Dernberger. And struck in the back, just outside the box by Kenny Swain. A free kick to Bayern Munich, which Paul Breitner will take. Hoeneß might be the big man they have to watch in the box now, but Rummenigge's in there too. They played instead to Dernberger, and it's charged down by Bremner. So Dernberger for Bayern. Dremler. Oh, Rummenigge. Well beaten there. And another break coming out by Alan Evans for Aston Villa, but the pass not quite finding Gary Shaw. And in the end, Bayern was able just to turn it away. It was a pity that Evans' final pass wasn't a better one, because Shaw could easily have been put in then. If you've just come in from work, it's 0-0 in the European Cup final, and if you're a bit surprised to see a strange young tall goalkeeper in the Villa goal, I have to tell you that Jimmy Rimmer came off with a neck injury after 10 minutes, and the man taking his place is Nigel Spink, who's only ever had one previous first-team game, and that was on Boxing Day 1979. But Villa looking comfortable and holding, at the moment, holding the West German champions pretty well. Bremner playing it through for Shaw. A touch now for Peter With. In fact, Spink's only game, in fact, was against your club, Bayern.
Yes, it was. I can't quite remember the score, actually. I can't quite remember how well he did. But it's not bad this having a second game in the European Cup final.
Well, here is Weiner now for Bayern Munich. Rummenigge, a nice little flick pass there, but Des Bremner read it well. He's getting through a lot of work in those defensive areas for Aston Villa at the moment. Swain. Shaw getting up and nodding it in, hoped to find Mortimer, but they didn't make it, and it's Dernberger now for Bayern Munich. Only half stopped by Cowens, but enough. British clubs, of course, have won the European Cup the last 5 years. 3 times Liverpool, twice Nottingham Forest. And 3 years before that, it was Bayern Munich. So for the last 8 years, it really has been monopolised by English and West German clubs. And here they are again. Here's Peter With. Cowens, a flick towards Gary Shaw. Well, he sent Weiner the wrong way there, but it was just a little too deep for Peter With. And there's no doubt that Horstmann was delighted to get that one away for Bayern Munich, only as far as Kenny Swain. Mortimer playing it in to Peter With, and he's carved it out and found Des Bremner on the far side. Left foot the cross towards Tony Morley. You looked as though you wanted to say something, Brian.
That was a brilliant piece of work by young Shaw then. Most players would have just attempted to lay the ball back. He crossed a magnificent ball.
Williams. Deep cross towards Bremner. Got up well there. And Weiner getting it away. Evans, challenged by Rummenigge, and Rummenigge now in full flight, with Hoeneß going through the middle for him, and that's the ball played towards Hoeneß, well cut out by Alan Evans. And here's Ken McNaught, with back to McNaught again. Williams. Cowens. Again, Peter With up there. That looked very much like a shove in the back when he was in mid-air. Evans guiding it skillfully to his big number 5, Ken McNaught. And the long ball again. They are persisting with this aerial bombardment towards Peter With. Do you think maybe they should vary it a little bit, Brian?
No, I don't. I think he's causing them that much trouble. Peter With found himself in a right-back position not so long ago, in Aston Villa's right-back position. And if I'd have been on the touchline, I'd have gone and booted him back to the centre-forward position. Because he's caused them that many problems, he should never be in his own half.
Well, let's hope there are more problems here. As Shaw finds With. Looks for the return ball. Got Gordon Cowans around him, but the whistle had gone for the free kick for the foul on Gary Shaw, so it's a free kick to Aston Villa.
And he wants to cut that out as well, the reaction to referees. That does nobody any good.
Well, it's Mortimer with the free kick. Now it's going to be Cowans, in fact, floating it towards With, and Evans, and the ball eventually going for the goal kick. Gordon Cowans getting back to do a bit of defending in midfield now as Bayern come at him. It's Paul Breitner. And, well, Breitner was much too slow on that. Morley. Cowans looking around to see if any red shirts are about the place. Finds Kenny Swain on the far side. Bremner. His contribution has been excellent so far, but he won't get that return pass from Peter With. But Mortimer might just nick that one out to Swain, which he does. With is up there again. Williams. Cowans quickening it up a little bit. Shaw trying to get it back to him, but it hasn't got quite enough purchase on it. And here's Bremner now on the break for Bayern Munich. Shoved unceremoniously off the ball by the young fullback Gary Williams, conceding the free kick.
Got back well there, Brian. You've got a long way to go. He'd got himself in the corner flag there in support, and he got back remarkably well.
Well, now he's got a bit of defending to do, because Kraus looking for Rummenigge onto the left leg. They letting go a little bit there, Aston Villa. That was a little bit worrying for a moment, and Rummenigge gets his cross in towards Hernis. But the Villa lads, in the shape of Gary Williams, bringing it away again. Morley up ahead of him, Shaw and With in the central forward areas. Mortimer's gone forward as well, and a lovely little touch by With for Mortimer. And now Bremner with Swain in base on the far side. Unobserved, unused, and a goal kick. So Bino for Bayern. Augenthaler, who's had Peter With flinging himself at him for most of the night so far. This is Dernberger. Nice little touch there by Kraus, getting it back again from Breitner, trying to play it through to Mate, who couldn't control it, and Williams gets it back, and another touch for young Nigel Spink. With tangling with Breitner, and the referee deciding there was a bit of play acting there by Peter With. So much at stake, and there's bound to be an enormous amount of tension out there. Shaw. Tony Barton, the Villa manager, I noticed, was quoted this morning as saying, if we win, it'll be like winning the pools. We go into the World Club Championship in Tokyo. That's worth a lot of money. We can play exhibition matches. That's worth a lot of money. But above all, of course, they get themselves back in the European Cup next season, and that's worth a lot of money. And there is the glory, of course, of winning the European Cup. But it's Hernis finding Dernberger, who's got Rummenigge waiting in the middle, still with Dernberger. Oh, this could be trouble now. Dernberger shot, what a save! The first real save he's had to make since he came on for the injured Jimmy Rimmer, and he did remarkably well, Brian.
And he collected it beautifully. That was a good chance. I've been waiting for the little seven to do something, actually, because A couple of years ago, we played them in pre-season. I'll tell you in a minute. That's a corner.
Tell us now.
A couple of seasons ago, we played them in pre-season, and the Wector's 5, and he caused havoc. Absolute havoc, the little 7 did.
Well, that's Sternberg, who's already played in a couple of European Cup finals in 74 and 75. There we see, with half an hour gone, 0-0. Tony Morley with the corner for Aston Villa. Shaw with McNaught has come up for this one as well, with his header. And in the end, the header from Gary Shaw quite comfortably corrected by Muller. Horseman. Augenthaler. And again that long ball where he hopes to hit either Hernes or Rummenigge, but he hit the head instead of Ken McNaught. But here's Breitner facing it up again for Rummenigge. And another good save. It was a fine reaction save though. In the first place, not to matter, he shot the crowd down before Rummenigge's. And the Villa really getting behind young substitute goalkeeper who did so well again. Corner, rather a throw for Bayern Munich. There's Rummenigge's shot, and he got well behind it. Breitner. Curl.
The blocks, Brian, for 30 seconds then.
With charge down, free kick to Villa. Now maybe they can make it hot at the other end. But again, young Nigel Spink did well to hold Royce to parry that Rummenigge shot.
It was a brilliant serve. What he's doing is, like all young men, he's showing no signs of fear. If he'd have been a bit more experienced and a bit older, that's when you start to think, and that's when you show a few nerves.
Well, it's Gordon Cowans with the free kick towards Ken McNaught, but Hernes had gone back, knocked it off the top of the big Scots head, and it'll be a throw to Aston Villa. Although Bayern Munich, well, that's a remarkable decision. Surely had to be a Villa throw.
Brian, the lessons there, by the way, the fact that Villa have controlled this game for 90% of the time that's been played. He has had 3 remarkable efforts on goal, Rummenigge. And I was saying a quarter of an hour ago he hadn't had a kick, and he hadn't.
Cowans now for Villa, with just getting to it. Swain coming up from the back. Getting past his man now. Can Kenny Swain get one through? Couldn't get it as far as Shaw. Breitner. Still a beautifully balanced European Cup final, and Rummenigge's offside. Don't worry, Villa fans. That's got to come back. Well, this young man's having a night of his life. Little did he think when he came to Rotterdam that he would be doing anything more than making up the numbers, but here he is in a European Cup final, and he's really shown his mettle. Ken McNaught tried to float one as far as Gary Shaw. Cowans now feeds Morley. Now Williams. Cowans again. Shaw. Morley. Put a bit under pressure, and his pass went astray to Breitner. And Dremler gets it back to his keeper, Muller. There was just the fear, I know, in the Villa camp amongst one or two of them that they might freeze on the big occasion, but they certainly have shown no sign of that. Oh, off the top of Ken McNaught's head. At the moment, they are a credit to the training and the preparation of Tony Barton. And the work, of course, way back of Ron Saunders, don't forget that. Gary Williams. Long ball towards Peter With yet again. Alcantara getting to grips well with then though. Villa's throw with 10 minutes of the first half remaining. Out of play. Let me just appraise you of the situation that if we're level after 90 minutes, there's still a long way to go. We then have 30 minutes of extra time, and if we're still level then, it's penalties. But here's Alcantara, the sweeper coming forward for about the first time in the game for Bayern Munich, finding Rummenigge, finding Breitner, and Müller. Was right in on that, so too was Breitner, so too was McNaught, and if anything it might even have ended up an own goal. No, it would have come off Dieter Hoeneß. Troublesome time again there for Villa, Brian.
Well, as Brighton made a superb run, and that would have been a fluke, obviously, could have been a goal, but nevertheless, the work that was done beforehand got them into the Aston Villa penalty area, and it was a dangerous situation.
Hoeneß at the moment getting a little bit of treatment for a knock that he received when he made that challenge. Ken McNaught. So Bayern for the moment just temporarily down to 10 men. Cowans with again trying that little back flick, but well intercepted by Alcantara. A good advantage played there by the French referee. Here's Matty, and Williams coming back well for Villa. As you can see, Dieter Hoeneß wanting to come back on. The younger brother of the great Uli Hoeneß of the great Bayern Munich side, who is now the general manager of Bayern Munich. Cowans, a nice little pass there, well played to Williams. And he took it too far, but I think it's Kraus was injured, and in fact a yellow card for Gary Williams for that challenge on Kraus. It'll be a free kick to Bayern Munich. The Bayern crowd, as you can see from those banners behind the Bayern goal at the moment, the Villa fans ranged and very well segregated are behind the Villa goal. No hint of trouble so far as the crowd's concerned at all at the moment. Alcantara, the long ball, that's his speciality, trying to hit those long men again, those front men rather, and he didn't quite get hold of Hoeneß. Swain, and he's doing the same thing this time, trying to find width, but Weiner getting the ball to Alcantara. So here are Bayern again. Walking pace.
This long ball they're playing behind Kenny Swain, Brian, Villa have got to watch it, you know, because Kenny Swain likes getting forward and he likes getting close to his winger, and they know about this and sense it, and they're whipping it right behind him and causing Ken McNaught a lot of problems.
Weiner this time. Again, that long ball you've just been talking about. That time McNaught got up well. Mortimer just helped it on its way, but sadly for Villa, it only found Breitner. And here's Dremler. It's a long cross there towards Hoeneß. Good catch by Spink. Williams. Dernberger. Weiner. Shaw coming back to hustle him. Matty. This time for Dremler, who's put in one or two very good crosses. He's normally a midfield player who loves to come forward. It's towards Breitner, but it won't reach him. In fact, it goes for the Villa goal kick.
It'll be interesting to watch Ken McNaught as the game goes on, Brian, because he's missed a lot of the season with injury. He's been talking about contracts the last 2 or 3 weeks when he should have been concentrating on this match, possibly even a bit more than he has. And I never like to go into matches like this where players are talking about contracts. 'Cause to play in the European Cup final, the young man's entitled to play for nothing.
Well, he's not playing for nothing. The bonus is said to be some £2,500 per man for Aston Villa, but £10,000 a man for Bayern Munich to win tonight.
Money means nothing, Brian, when you're out there.
It's Shaw, and now it's Williams. Oh, we got through the pair of them, but in the end was stopped by Kraus. The challenge by Cowans was not all that effective, but Williams, who's done some good tackling in this game, he's looked quite a useful left back, hasn't he, Brian?
Well, once again, he likes to get forward. I think he's just got to curb it just fractionally, because it's all right going forward. He's a hell of a long way back, and he's had to get back several times, and there's another 45-50 minutes of intense football to go. Just he curbs it just a wee bit. It'll give Morley a bit more room in any case.
Cowans, very deep. And the pass only finds Dremler, who in turn reaches his captain Breitner. Here's Kraus coming forward now from the midfield, and Rummenigge now for Bayern Munich. Good challenge by Dremler. Morley in there, jumping though at the opponent and getting stuck in a little bit there to Dremler. A bit of nastiness there just for a moment. Kraus again, getting forward. Again is good pass, finding Rummenigge. And Rummenigge's pass not quite reaching the Breitner as Breitner came storming in. But Breitner in turn finding Kraus once more, has this curious hunched run. And they get a corner. So we're inside the last 5 minutes of the first half with the score 0-0. With Evans' help, we're sure to succeed, says the banner. Well, Dernberger's come across this time and got the ball back to Breitner once more. That's a dangerous looking cross. They're all coming in on that far side, including Rummenigge and Hernes. Dernberger once more towards Rummenigge, and Evans's header wasn't that effective. It's a throw for Bayern Munich. He just got the touch and maybe that was enough. Horseman, Bremner whacking it away. The match being beamed live right around Europe, and that includes Holland, which may well account for the few empty seats that you see here in the Feyenoord Stadium in Rotterdam tonight. It's Mate now for Bayern Munich. The 20-year-old midfielder finding Hernes. Here we are with Breitner, and now with Rummenigge. The shot on the turn was off the target. He was again closed down very quickly by the man at his heels there, Alan Evans.
He's like all good strikers, Brian. He only comes alive, really alive, when he's in the box. He steps up 2 or 3 paces. You watch him lounge around in midfield. He doesn't look interested. He's not interested, actually. He's not paid to do a lot in midfield. But when he gets in there, over 5-10 yards, it's absolutely electric. And he leaves markers standing. If you look very, very closely when the Germans have the ball, he comes off markers as though they're not there.
Shaw for Villa. Good ball. Nice return. A reverse ball there to Williams. Cowans. Carefully, studiously down that left flank again towards Williams. Cowans again, that long ball looking for width, but he didn't find him. And Dernberger takes it up again for Bayern Munich. Dremler. Augenthaler. In the last minute of the first half now, and again that long ball from the big sweeper, this time looking for Hernes, who got his head to it, but Evans is keeping a very close watch indeed on Karl-Heinz Rummenigge. It's a Bayern Munich throw. The referee may adjust a little bit of stoppage time, but there can't be much. Kraus finding Horseman. It'll come through to Hoeneß, play back again for Rummenigge, hit first time, and the ball deflected off a Villa defender. The question is whether they're going to have time to take the corner there. Not. There's the half-time whistle. Bayern Munich. And the French referee, Georges Conrad, getting the second half underway. Kenny Swain now for Villa. To Ken McNaught. Gary Williams, an excellent first half coming forward. Notice he's got his left knee pretty heavily strapped. Kraus getting it back to his goalkeeper Muller. This is Weiner. Saw so much of this very slow, almost languid build-up by the West German champions in the first half. But you always have to watch them. There's always a viper finish. They speed things up when you least expect it, especially when the ball gets around Rummenigge. But at the moment, it's Des Bremner for Aston Villa, with Swain inviting a pass out to this right touchline. But Bremner playing it into Gary Shaw. Touch back to Mortimer. Nice, accurately played in there to With. Now for Shaw again. And behind, Cowan's coming up, but Maul is over on the far side. So too is Williams, who's come forward, and that may not reach him. Matty was in there quickly, but Williams was on his feet well. And in the end, the Germans got it into touch, and it's Mortimer on the ball again now for Aston Villa. Played in by Cowans, Augenthaler away to Breitner. Rummenigge's up there, beaten in the air quite comfortably that time by Alan Evans. The chase is on. It should be, it must be Ken McNaught's. Back to Nigel Spink. Williams. Bayern Munich, in fact, playing their 12th cup final. They've played 7 West German cup finals. They've played 3 European cup finals and a Cup Winners' Cup final, and they've won them all. So it's about time somebody did something about it, and maybe Aston Villa can do that tonight. At the moment, it's the young sweeper Augenthaler, the man who hits these long balls towards Rummenigge and Hoeneß, but this time contents himself with a short pass to Weiner. Chandler. Well stopped by Williams. Here's Morley. We haven't had too many runs of Morley. We had a few early on in the game, in the first 10 minutes or so, but he's been a little muted since then. But it's... not sure whether the referee gave a free kick there. Do you have any feelings now about what Villa need to do? We were listening to what Ron Atkinson and Jimmy Greaves were saying.
I'll tell you what they've not got to do. They've not got to lose the discipline, Brian, because the Germans will just pounce the first time they do. They've opened out the same as before. Disciplined start.
And here's Hoeneß now, coming forward for Bayern Munich. Supported by Breitner, the long ball forward for Matty, who's got Rummenigge in the middle. And the ball going for the goal kick. Howls of protest from the German fans. But the French referee stands firm.
He's entitled to overrule his linesman, man. That was a corner.
So 23-year-old Nigel Spink. Forgive me if I repeat it again, if people have just come in from work. 0-0. Jimmy Rimmer off with a neck injury after 10 minutes. This young lad from Chelmsford City playing only his second first-team game. Nigel Spink. With not quite getting Cowans, but there wasn't much in it. And Weiner was happy just to hoist the ball in the air. Now Cowans just knocking it forward, and it's Augenthaler who gets this one away towards Hoeneß. Battling in the air with McNaught. Matty. Evans winning it in the air for Aston Villa. Williams. Shaw. Peter With. But now Kraus. A fairly aimless ball there. Well, Peter With's due a goal in the European Cup. He hasn't scored since the very first round. That was a game in Iceland. Bremner. Now here's With. A little touch again by him, but it didn't come off. It didn't look remotely like coming off for Mortimer. Good saving challenge there by Gordon Cowans. And now Ken McNaught. Morley. Now, will he have a run at the man? No. Finds With. The little flick on that occasion did come off. And the little one too with Shaw. Morley supporting him. And Cowans was up as well, but Matty gets it away. And away come Bayern Munich again now. Dremler. Stopped well though by Aston Villa's Gary Williams. And a free kick to Villa. Bayern bench. It looks as though Sigurd Vincent might be warming up with a chance of coming on. Muller gathering that ball above the head of Peter With. I think a free kick had been given. And it's Günther Güttler who's warming up. Midfield player for Bayern Munich warming up on the track side at the moment. Now Shaw. He's got With waiting in the middle in a bit of space, but Shaw's got his problems. Bremner. Morley. Augenthaler's gone out there. Can Morley get the better of him? No, he can't, but Villa get a throw. Being played in a very good spirit on the field, and it's happy to report, as far as we can see, there are no disturbances off the field either. Now they're bringing on their substitute. There he is, Günther Güttler, who's 21 next week rather. And it looks like Mate who's coming off. So one 20-year-old goes on and a 20-year-old comes off. A midfielder for a midfielder. Villa's throw. Brighton's header. Evans again hoisting a long one, and Muller getting it at its highest point quite comfortably. Brighton feeling his back on the far side. And a whole posse of physiotherapists looking suitably concerned in Bayern tracksuits down below us. Duenberger. Augenthaler. Oh, the sweeper coming forward as good sweepers should, and gets a free kick, which he takes quickly, and they were caught out a little bit there. Well, they caught out the referee as well because he wasn't ready for them to go on. So Breitner seems to have got over his back trouble very quickly again. Little chip in there towards Hoeneß. Breitner again. Caught it on the volley. It might have been dangerous. Thankfully for Villa it wasn't. It's a goal kick.
It's a good free kick, Brian. And that was a fair effort. Despite it was 10 yards over the top, it was still a fair effort. It was off balance, and he had to attempt something like that.
Williams to Evans. A European Cup final that is still so very delicately balanced. Forget all about Bayern Munich being odds-on favourites. Villa have made nonsense of that so far. But at times the German champions have shown what a threat they can be. But Villa are more than holding them at the moment, and I hope that's not tempting Providence. At the moment, it's Horseman. Augenthaler. For Bayern Munich. Kraus. And Rummenigge, well challenged. Good. I thought that looked a good fair challenge by Evans, who appeared to take the ball. I thought for a moment the referee had agreed, but in the end the whistle went, the hand went up, It's a free kick to Bayern Munich. Breitner is again on the ball. Dernberger's gone across that side now. Horstman's come up from the back. Hoeneß is poised. Rummenigge's in the box as well. This is aimed towards Hoeneß, but it won't get to him. Ken McNaught shepherds the ball over the line. For all that they're looking relatively comfortable, Brian, you have to say at the same time that Villa aren't exactly making chances, are they?
No, not at the moment, they're not. Peter With is having a period where he's not holding the ball and the flicks are not coming off. He'll have to get hold of it a lot more.
Horstman challenged by With, who's supported by Shaw, and the ball just wouldn't break for Aston Villa. Breitner got in there and found Weiner. In turn finds Dremler. And Rummenigge on his way, and a good piece of play, and a worthy and worthwhile piece of play by McNaught. Just getting in there when it looked as though Rummenigge might be on his way, just sticking the ball back to Nigel Spink. Cowans now to With. Played wide here for Swain. Used to be a forward, loves to come forward and attack. That was in his Chelsea days, he was a forward. So Udo Horstmann also played in the European Cup final before, the one in 1976. The Bayern number 3. Gutler now. As Bayern break forward again. It's Augenthaler, and it's Gutler right in there as well, all the way. And across the face of the goal. A tremendous break out there by the man from the back, Augenthaler. And a lot of trouble there for Aston Villa.
Brian, he'll kick himself for the rest of the year over this effort. He'd done so well. All it needed was just a pull back and somebody walks it in the back of the net.
And there were 3 there to do it.
And there was 1 out of picture, actually. There was 4 within 5 or 6, 7, 8 yards of the goal.
So a let-off for Aston Villa. And a warning to them, as Brian said early in the second half, their discipline has got to be 100% throughout this second half. Shaw beaten in the air by Weiner. Mortimer coming into the picture. Finding Peter With. Cowans just about made it. Williams. Bremner. They claim handball, the referee agrees, it's a free kick to Bayern Munich. Dernberger. Horstmann. Weiner. And now the break. Weiner for Bayern Munich. But Gutler outside him, here he is. Playing wide on the right. Finding his skipper now, Breitner. Dernberger. Rummenigge. Turned Evans well there. A little bit of extra pace. That little flick out there for Horstmann. Breitner's in there too, but Villa get that one away. Finding Gary Shaw into the path of Mortimer if he can just get there, which he can't. And here comes Augenthaler, the man who had a marvellous chance a moment ago, and there's his long ball played on and an offside against Hoeneß. Lovely flick on by Rummenigge. You've been wanting to say something, Brian.
Ken McNaught did well then, Brian. If he'd attempted to go with the centre forward, he'd have played him on side. And what I was trying to say is the Germans don't like giving the ball away, you know. They touched it 13, 14, 15 times then. And there's some irate Germans grumbling in front of us, but they're wrong.
Well, there's Kenny Swain with a long ball.
The name of the game at this level is keep the ball.
Gutler.
The more you keep the ball, the better chance you have.
Augenthaler. This big defender's coming forward more and more now. And there's another good break. And he's getting Rummenigge on his way this time, with Hoeneß waiting in the middle and Dernberger coming into space for the drive. No. Brighton's there. Dernberg is there. Brilliant save by Spink. I thought he had gone past him, but it hadn't.
With some road grind and some saves. Brilliant piece of football from both sides. It's a hell of a save from the young goalkeeper, this.
Well, it's got the German fans roaring, but that was a marvellous piece of goalkeeping again by 23-year-old Nigel Spink. Williams with Cowans, played on towards Morley, and well, Tremler missed his touch for a moment, but regained it quickly. I think Tony Morley was looking the other way just at that vital moment. Here's Udo Horstmann into the huge gloves which always the German goalkeepers seem to wear, of Müller. Free kick to Bayern. Slowly but surely they seem to be exerting a little bit more pressure, and their class and their skill is beginning to show a little bit now. Bayern Munich. It was a really brilliant move that they put together a moment ago. They've paced themselves well. A slow build-up, quicken when it's in a really dangerous area. Here they go again. It's Kraus on the ball at the moment. And the long cross coming in towards Hernis, but that should be no trouble for Spink. Morley to Cowans, and now for Peter With. He played that well for Tony Morley. His head's down and he's on his way until he ran into Tremler. Mortimer then putting it into touch. I think Villa realise what a job they can do for British football tonight. We need something to cheer ourselves up a little, and we'll do so much for everybody with the World Cup in mind as well. But it's Rummenigge on the ball again now, getting into good on the far side, and a good cross coming in. Oh, brilliant piece of defence there by Aston Villa. And again the big man up from the bank, put in his header well. Play is going on again. And nodded off the line. And the ball buzzing around that Aston Villa penalty area. Göttler, Evans. Villa got to get it away, but they can't. And it's with Rummenigge. Kicked out again. And Hermes is in there. And Spink won it again. Really hot in that Villa box now. As Bayern turn up the power, a little flick there by Rummenigge, Tremler putting it across, and Spink again doing well. I'm a little worried for Villa now, Brian.
We're still in there. We're still in there.
Shaw and With, for the moment, getting in each other's way. Cowans prodding a ball forward. Bremner was right in there, hoping that something might fall his way. Rummenigge. He's up, and he's past McNaught. And he's got Hernis in the middle, but Alan Evans was equal to it. Leitner coming in there, and a foul given against Bremner. A free kick to Bayern Munich. Now, Horstmann will make himself available for Brighton's free kick. Göttler's on the far side. Here's Horstmann, the big defender, looking to get the cross in, which he does well. And Göttler's there. And Hernis is there. And the ball just wouldn't go in for Bayern. And Villa thankfully bring it away again. Swain. Bad moments these for Villa. Need to compose themselves again. Cowans finding Williams on the far side, but still 0-0. With 20 minutes of the second half gone. Morley. Too high by Tony Morley. Goal kick. Bayern.
They're under the cosh, as they say in football, Villa O'Brien. Ken McNaughton's getting a terrible roasting at the moment. He's feeling the strain. And Villa's midfielder, Mortimer, is as well. He's carrying his shoulder.
The long ball from Augenthaler. Rummenigge's after it, and Spink is out there again and equal to it. So, Cowans now setting up the move for Aston Villa. Williams. Mortimer, got to get a grip on things more in midfield. Swain. With to Bremner, but Bremner won't get to it. It's a throw to Aston Villa. Kenny Swain. Ernest has come back there. Bremner lets it go. Another Villa throw. Villa fans a little quiet at the moment, and it's the Bavarian voices that are making all the noise at the moment. Swain. Bremner. Cowans wanting it short, but they're lining up in defence to get that away. And here's Breitner on the break, but he's only got Rummenigge up. I say only, that's enough. But Breitner might go all the way himself. Rummenigge's in there. And the miscue by Evans wasn't too disastrous because Bremner was in there again to tidy it up. Great break again by the Bayern skipper. But Villa still hanging on at 0-0. Mortimer. Shaw. Williams prepared to adventure down the left. There's a good ball played in for Tony Morley. Oh, he must be! And it is! Peter Will! Villa in the lead! A brilliant breakout! And look at the embracing! And now look at the replay! Great work up on that left-hand side. A lovely break by Morley. He turned him one way, he turned him another, and in the end, Peter Will said thank you off the post. 1-0 to Aston Villa. Halfway through the second half.
It is not a better example of what football's all about, then I don't know what is. They could have been 3-0 down, and Peter Will just took that goal in. Absolutely brilliant.
And he's not scored a European goal since the first round of this season, but now they've got to concentrate because here are Bayern again, and they get a corner. My word, what a turn-up.
Incredible goal, and that's what happens.
Well,
as long as you hang in there, there's always a chance.
Here's the Bayern corner. Oh, Des Bremner didn't get hold of it. Here's Breitner. And Bremner blocked it at the second attempt. And the shot there is wide from Güttler. Evans remonstrating with the referee, and the referee doing a bit of remonstrating back. Now, can Nigel Spink, the young, inexperienced goalkeeper, and his fellow defenders keep out this rampant Bayern Munich for another 22 minutes? For Villa to win the European Cup for the first time. To beat the favourites Bayern Munich. Villa leading with Peter Will's goal. Gary Shaw nodding it on. Augenthaler there getting it away from With. Oh, confusion there between two of the defenders. But Alan Evans got back. It was Williams and McNaught who got in each other's way. Please don't do that when this man's about. With in the air, beaten by Horseman, Ken McNaught. Manfully getting in that second header, finding Gary Shaw with it. Tony Morley, who played such a big part in that vital Villa goal. And it's Villa's throw. Taking their time. Gordon Cowans. Oh, maybe it's a throw. Villa thought for a moment it was a free kick. Gary Williams with it. Shaw turning it back. Peter With is in there. Bremner wants a bit of the action, and he was crowding his number 9. So anxious was Bremner to get a shot in on goal. Swain going wide. It's put a spring in the stride of Aston Villa, that goal, and no mistake. Swain crossing it in, with a header, but guided only as far as Kraus. Now Rummenigge has a responsibility on his head now if Bayern Munich are going to get an equaliser. Well, it's Breitner coming forward for them now. Hoeneß is up ahead of him, and Güttler's away on the right. Here's Güttler. And no, it's into the side netting and behind. There's a little roar from the Bayern Munich fans. They thought for a moment it had gone in. And at the other end of the field, the Villa fans are a mass of waving arms and waving banners as Nigel Spinks takes the goal kick.
Lot resting on Cowans, Bremner and Mortimer, Brian, for the last 20 minutes here. They're the ones that's got to run the show if Villa are going to win this final on the strength of Peter Witt's goal. They have the experience, they've got the talent. Whether they've got the legs or not, I'm not quite sure.
Morley. Still Morley. Shaw with a little header on with, trying to get a header in, and it was Muller in the end who got his fist to it and got it away. Swain playing it for Cowans. And having a go himself and forcing Muller to get down. And in the end save it fairly comfortably, but the ball was hit with considerable power by Gordon Cowans. 18 minutes left, Villa leading by a goal to nil. Peter With. Swain. We really haven't said, I've talked about Tony Morley's part in that goal, Brian. It was...
Well, it was Tony Morley's goal, apart from the final touch by Peter With. Strikers don't miss that type of thing. It was absolutely brilliant to set it up.
Horseman, the long ball forward. He's looking for Rummenigge. They mustn't let him get to it. And Alan Evans couldn't keep it quite into play, and so it's going to be a corner to Bayern Munich. Evans, I think, may have taken an elbow in the face from Rummenigge. The Germans are purposeful and businesslike, brisk about everything they do now, because time is hardly their friend at the moment as Rummenigge takes the thing in. And Hoeneß guided a header quite deliberately, aiming just inside the post, but his aim, fortunately for Villa, was off. Tell me how Tony Barton must be feeling now, the manager. You've done this, held on to a one-goal lead.
He won't be able to breathe. He'll be trying to take deep breaths and won't be able to get any air in. He'll wonder what it is. He'll look at his watch about 43 times every minute. He'll think it's stopped. He thinks his heart stopped at the moment, actually. But he's got to survive, just like his team's got to survive.
Cowans. Now, can Peter With gather this one up? A little turn, half pulled down, but his spirit was not to be denied. But Morley's challenge was a little wild, producing another free kick for Bayern Munich. Dieter Hoeneß to Karl-Heinz Rummenigge. Güttler outside him. So that should be Gary Williams' ball. In fact, it's a... he's given a corner. So Güttler with the corner for Bayern Munich. A long, long one to be towards Sternberger, but it was Bremner who just got up and nodded it back again. That could be nasty, but Spink, 6'1.5" inches, used those inches well. With. It's got to be a free kick to Aston Villa, and it is. Morley will take it. Alan Evans coming forward, trundling into the Bayern box, and lifting his legs a little more speedily. And a free kick given against Tony Morley there. Not happy with that decision, but throwing the ball away like that isn't going to help his cause. And Breitner will take the free kick. A quarter of an hour between this moment and Aston Villa raising the European Cup. Leading by a goal to nil, scored by Peter With. But here come Bayern Munich again with Horstmann, with Rummenigge and Hoeneß in there as well. Horstmann with a shot, and his front men won't be very happy with that. They'd made good runs for him, but he thought he'd grab a little bit of the glory himself, and all he gets are angry looks.
He's had magnificent runs, and his finishing, both shots and passes, have not been of a high calibre at all. But there was a touch of frustration and desperation about that last effort. And if Villa can get that through to the Germans for the last quarter of an hour, I'll be absolutely delighted.
Spink with the kick. Let's hope his nerve can hold for another quarter of an hour. Morley with Upwell, but unfairly apparently. Another free kick to Bayern, a chance for them to come forward. Horstmann. Stopped there by Swain. Bremner, who's covered a lot of ground, getting his header in, but it's a throw to Bayern Munich. Again, Udo Horstmann with it. Sternberger, no, it'll be Bremner getting it away. Shaw, a 1 against 1. Will he take him on? No, the Bayern people are getting back quickly, but Shaw is not to be denied. That's a free kick.
And that's what could happen with Villa in the last 10 minutes with a bit of luck, Brian. We just get a few people in deep positions, leave this young man up the field with Peter With, and let's make some quick breaks, get into their box, get into corner flags. Because there's nothing worse for defenders to be dragged forward, and the Germans are dragged forward then. And then to have a quick break against them.
Well, let's see what Villa can do now. Got a few over the ball. Alan Evans has come up on the far side. Peter With and Gary Shaw are poised there on the far side of the penalty area, just out of your picture. Tony Morley, Gordon Cowans playing it now for Swain. A nice little chip. They're lining up on the far side. Evans is there, but it'll be a corner for... No, it's a free kick because Evans apparently pushed down on a Bayern defender. I don't know about Tony Barton's watch stopping. I think mine has as well. It's about 12 minutes though. Feiner. Mortimer not giving him any room, so he plays the ball this way for Horstmann. And now look at the space here for Breitner. They'll have to fill that quickly. Breitner advancing on the goal. In the end, getting it back to Horstmann. Charged down well by the Villa skipper Dennis Mortimer. And Swain whacking that one away.
It's about time he did get in the right back position, I know that.
Well, now a break. Here's Morley, and With is up as well, and Shaw too. It wants a good last pass or a great last shot. And in the end, there's no free kick, and Bayern can bring it away. Dennis Mortimer, hands on his haunches, looking very, very weary at the moment. But there's some work still to be done. Rummenigge's in behind them. And the keeper's there again. Goodness knows that's an unorthodox challenge on the world's, or one of the world's great strikers. But I think it may have been a handball. But here's Rummenigge. That must be a fearsome sight for a goalkeeper. And there may have been a handball there. At any rate, it's a free kick for Aston Villa. The danger for the moment is over. 11 minutes remaining. And they are making a substitution. Kraus is coming off. And Kurt Niedermeyer, who's more a defender than anything else, is coming on, but going into the midfield.
They just want a fresh pair of legs, Brian. Doesn't matter where he plays.
Swain. Cowans. Williams. Bayern.
Keep it. I just want them to keep it. Just for a couple of minutes. Keep it. Keep the ball. You've got enough men on the field, enough men to play it. Get your legs moving and keep the ball and don't give it away.
Peter With. Played in again towards Gary Shaw. There's Bayern getting it away. Augenthaler. Swain playing it back again, but not keeping the ball, and it goes straight to Horseman. Now to Niedermeyer. That's a fair ball there to Gutmann. Played out for Breitner. Could be danger here now for Aston Villa. The little cross coming in. Hernes was in there, but Swain got his header to it. It looked like a handball there, right in front of the referee, thankfully for Villa again, by Niedermeyer, and a free kick to Aston Villa. We're within 10 minutes now of the final whistle, and Aston Villa still leading by 1-0, scored by Peter Withe. And in many ways, Brian, so reminiscent of your match against Hamburg, where you'd scored through John Robertson and you were taking some stick and holding on, and we wondered that night whether you would manage to do it, and we're wondering tonight whether Aston Villa can hold on. They're making a break now with Des Bremner. Bayern getting it away, but here come the Germans again. Stopped that time by Swain. Good interception. Here's Morley. Oh, but Dremler was onto it. But again, Villa were quickly in on that action, but they've conceded a free kick, and they're conceding a lot of free kicks at the moment. 9 minutes left. And here come Bayern Munich again, and again their mastermind in the midfield, Paul Breitner. Dernberger, very experienced man on the left side of their midfield. And Dremler, who's got his ration of goals from the midfield, and now getting a corner.
Williams is on his knees, Brian.
There he is, running into the box there now with the
he's on his knees, he's injured,
knee.
his pads are out, his stockings are down, although he's just trying to pull up there. He's on his knees, he's got to watch the space he's allowing them on the right flank.
Well, there are plenty of red shirts now in that Villa penalty area. Here comes a long corner.
Foul.
And a foul, on the keeper? Or
yes,
on the
he stood right in front of the keeper.
And well spotted by the referee. And by you.
That's unlike Germans, actually, because that's exactly what we want them to do.
A few more seconds tick away.
This is a part of our game that we lack in English football. If we could play it around like the Germans could play it around, this game would be over.
Horseman. Now Bayern Munich going to lose their first ever cup final. They've got about 7.5 minutes to do something about Peter Withe's goal. A long clearance by Dremler. That long one that they've tried so often. That time McNaught was up well. Withe had it almost taken off his chest there by Breitner. It was dangerous play. The German captain not too happy about it. A free kick for Aston Villa. And another of their players, I notice, is down. I think it's probably Kenny Swain taking his shin guards out, wanting a bit of treatment maybe. And I notice that Colin Gibson's warming up, I think it is, down below us. And the referee saying if you want to put your boot on properly, you're going to have to do it while the game's going on. So Villa say, OK, well, our part in that is that we will gently get the ball back to our goalkeeper while Kenny Swain does that. And the seconds tick away, and it's about 6.5 minutes now. Now, what do they want the young goalkeeper to do? Well, that's what he's done with it, a long clearance towards Gary Shaw. And there's a bit of tiredness there from Dremner, who completely miscued that one, and it's a throw for Bayern Munich. Breitner. Augenthaler. Even the deep defenders now. In fact, everybody except the goalkeeper is now in the Villa half of the field. Ken McNaught with a long defensive clearance, and Bremner with a chance now to take it forward for Aston Villa. He's got Tony Morley in space over on the left. Here he is. This time taking on Dremler and beating him. Oh, and then almost beating himself. Cowans. And Dremler. And Cowans back well. And it looked to me as though he took the ball, but the French referee was, in fairness, about 130 yards closer to it than I was. He gave the free kick. Bayern, Horseman. Rummenigge on the turn. Evans sticking well with him. Look for that little whiplash, bit of acceleration from him, which Dernberger will now try to create. Horseman in there. Dernberger, Villa holding them off at the moment on the deep side. And again, young Nigel Spink up well. And what a good throw out for him as well. Releasing Morley. Just kept in, as you can see now. We're inside the last 5 minutes of the game with Villa leading by a goal to nil. Morley now. Shaw. No foul. But the ball tucked in by that corner flag, and Bayern have got to do something from deep. Rummenigge. My word, they want a bit of magic from him now. Or from Breitner, or from anybody, in fact. That time Hernes reaching it well. And how calm and comfortable and unflurried Nigel Spink looks. Long clearance. 4 minutes left. Morley. If only Villa could get another one and put us all out of our misery. Bremner. And With up there. No penalty. The referee, I suppose, from 35 yards, took a cursory glance, gave a wave of his arm, thought that Peter With was putting it on a bit, decided no penalty, goal kick already taken. And here come Bayern Munich again. Niedermeyer, the substitute. Weiner, they've got to push everybody forward now. Villa have got to keep their resolution together for another 4 minutes as they get it back again to Nigel Spink. 3 minutes, Brian.
Just keep it. Left back, we're looking for you.
With the header. Shaw trying to raise a gallop into those legs. But again, a nice bit of skill there by Bayern Munich, by Horseman now. It was Augenthaler who found him, then Niedermeyer, the long ball forward. Rummenigge completely missing that one.
Offside.
It's offside. It's offside. Curtis's goal will not stand. It is offside. It is offside, and it's the right decision.
When the lad played the ball forward, he was offside. Watch, no, he's not offside, Brian.
No,
it's
Hernes
is offside.
Hernes is offside.
Their
the
kid will
finishing
kill
was
him.
Good. They're not happy about it.
It was a good decision. Lansman put his flag straight up.
We're 2 minutes away from an Aston Villa victory.
He's off, ref.
And he was offside again. Another free kick for Aston Villa. Inside the last 2 minutes. Firecrackers are starting around, but from the German fans, so they want to put some fireworks now into their front men. In the 90 seconds, a little more than that are left. Bremner playing it to With. Now, With getting round Augenthaler. And a throw to Aston Villa. They'll not hurry to take it. Kenny Swain trotting forward, but the referee, I'm sure, will be aware of what's happening, and Villa may not profit from it because he will probably add a corresponding number of seconds to the 90 minutes. Now, Ken McNaught, can you keep it? We have a minute left. Just a fraction more. Ken McNaught. Down towards the corner flag, perhaps. Gary Shaw.
Keep it there, son. Keep it there. There's no hurry, son. Keep it there.
Cowans. And he can keep it there again. Played in by Bremner. Towards Peter With, but sadly for Villa, they now give possession to Bayern Munich instead of keeping it. The Germans are coming forward. We're in the last minute of the game. About 30 seconds remaining now. Cowans couldn't hold on to that one. Rummenigge's there. surely not in the last seconds. Still with Rummenigge, they've got to stop him somehow. It's right in that Villa penalty area now. He plays the ball in there, and Niedermeyer had it knocked off his foot. And here comes Villa again. Morley and two up with him against three defenders. Peter With, now, he must hold it now, surely, with... No, he's not. And in fact, he's found Kenny Swain who's come up. Perhaps he'll hold it. Clipped off the heels of somebody. With just turning it back. We're playing time added on for stoppages now. They're almost there. Bremner didn't see the man behind him. Peter With's goal is just a few seconds away now from getting the European Cup for Aston Villa, and the Villa fans are beginning to celebrate, but it's a little too early yet. The referee is looking at his watch. 5 successive seasons English clubs have won the European Cup, and Villa now a matter of seconds away from making it number 6. No, the whistle had gone, a free kick had been given. I think it must have been a handball there by Cowans. We played nearly 45 seconds of time added on. They're squirming and screaming on the bench. And he's done it! Villa have won the European Cup! Peter With's goal has brought the European Cup